Go ahead, guys.
I know you had something to say.
Well, no, I just, sometimes some things are comical to me that probably wouldn't be funny to anybody else, so I'll just keep my mouth shut.
Just obviously the last drive and the chunks of yardage you got in that situation. I mean, were you obviously trying to get yourself in position there with the win at your back?
We were getting ourselves in position to win the ball game rather than go into overtime. And then, you know, Robert has a fantastic arm. He is one of the most gifted passers that I've been around. And, you know, a rough career, you know, with the injuries and all the misreps, and we all know the story. But just, you know, hats off to him to play in a ball game with the courage that he plays. And our line did a good job, and they gave protection. And we knew that if we could get protection for our quarterback, that Robert Marf could be a difference maker, and he certainly was today. The last drive, we didn't have any second guesses in our minds that if we could protect for Robert, we were going to get it close enough to kick a field goal.
Was Griggs the choice all along?
Pardon me?
Was Griggs the choice all along?
He's our long ball guy, you know, going into the ball game, and obviously Sam is our short ball guy going in the ball game. So that was the field goals that Grigsby has hit the most consistent, that range throughout the course of the practices. So it was been scripted and planned that way all week long.
You sort of mangled the time management there at the end of the first. Were you happy for a redo there at the end of the second one? Was pretty important?
Yes.
Just Paul's had a bit of an up and down year. You know, the situation at Ohio State, and now to come back and kind of redeem himself just for his confidence.
It's going to be huge for Paul, but, you know, hats off to any freshman that's a starter, you know, in Big Ten football, and, you know, playing in a game in the shoe in front of 100-something people right out of high school. You know, it's an unbelievable venue here, fantastic crowd, packed house. You know, we have the great fans at Purdue, and they have lots of great fans here at Iowa, packed house, so another very hostile environment, game, you know, right on the line. So a big kick for Paul Griggs is something that will certainly be a difference maker in his development and his career.
What do you think was different today, Danny? I mean, obviously you guys, you know, had been in this losing streak. Why now? Why were you able to kind of pull through and get it in this circumstance?
We made more plays, you know, and the competition's really tough. We were significantly healthier with our defensive front coming into the ball game this weekend. The last 3 or 4 weeks, when you start getting guys like Kawan Short and Bruce Gasson and Ryan Russell and Brandon Taylor's out, you know, we have had 5 or 6 of our top defensive linemen that have been playing injured, and as a result, they're not as effective. And that's tough when you're playing against the Michigans and the Wisconsins and the Penn States and the very, very top football programs in the country. And we were healthier today. We came to the ball game today. We're not completely healthy. Excuse my grammar there. We're completely healthy, but much healthier than we have been. So we can recover this week and retain our health. We'll be strong and formidable across the front again this weekend coming up. But we came into the season believing that we had a outstanding, a dominant defensive front, you know, across the line of scrimmage, and we were and we have been. But when you get 4 or 5 of your top defensive linemen injured and they're playing injured, then you're not the same. You know, and it's unfortunate that's happened from a timing standpoint. And you know, they're saying in the Big Ten, it's not who you play, but when you play them, and that's been the case throughout the course of the season. A lot of factors, but those are factors. There's never any excuses. So again, there were some factors today that made it tough, and our football team was able to push through it.
Danny, Coach, can you talk about things you might have seen with Iowa you thought you could exploit coming in? What areas did you think you might have an advantage?
I felt coming to the ball game that we'd have a chance to protect the quarterback. You know, they have not manufactured a lot of pass rush throughout the course of the season, but they haven't faced many passing football teams. I think Indiana was probably the first team that they played that really pushed it in regards to the passing game. So we felt like we would have a chance to protect our quarterback, and we knew if we could protect Robert Marv that we would do very well offensively.
Danny, commitment to the run today, the running game. I mean, you talked about it earlier this week. Was this a byproduct of that commitment today?
It was really important to us, and it has been important to us for the last several weeks, but sometimes it doesn't always work out the way that you want it to be able to be two-dimensional on offense. If people know we can't pass it, then they load the box up and they stuff the run. You know, if they know that you can't run it, then they press you up and they do some things out on the perimeter to take away the pass. You know, so the fact that we were able to be two-dimensional today, I thought was a difference maker in the ball game, and I thought that's one of the reasons why we were able to play Ohio State right to the last play of the ball game 3 or 4 weeks back, because we were able to be two-dimensional from an offensive standpoint. And I can't say enough things about the courage, to go out there and play in a football game with a running back that made great plays today that has 3 ACLs surgeries, and Robert Marvin's had 2 and playing without one right now. To me, those are the success stories of the ball game, not whether or not we were two-dimensional on offense or what it was we saw from Iowa. It was the character and the fortitude of the players on this football team is what should be applauded.
Danny, what was this week like with having Nord suffer the injury and not be with you, and then have to manage today? What kinds of things did you do?
Well, we met together as a staff, after the injury occurred, and we weren't sure exactly where it was at, but he's hurt very badly, and he may be out for the season, just like one of the players, maybe out for the season. So we had to regroup. We've been together before. I've worked with Sean Clark for a long time. Patrick Higgins worked for Coach Nord for a long time. He was Coach Nord's offensive coordinator when Coach Nord was the head coach at UTEP. So it really wasn't all that difficult to pass the baton. Most of the work had been done, the game plan had been prepared, and Patrick is an excellent coach. Higgins is an excellent play caller anyway, so it was a smooth transition, and I thought Coach Higgins did a great job, but the collective effort of our staff and our players is what made the difference today.
Did you ever think that Ralph Bolden would be able to get 100 yards rushing again like he did today after all he's been through?
I would never count Ralph Bolden out. He's an unbelievable amount of courage. I thought last year, to come back off of 2 ACLs and rush for almost 1,000 yards and to be our leading rusher and the things that he did last season, to me, was something that he was out of the ordinary. I was really surprised that he didn't get the NFF Comeback Player of the Year. I was shocked that he didn't. Football's a very physical ball game. When you're the ball carrier, you're the target. That's a lot different than other sports and other positions. So I think Ralph is he's one of my heroes of life.
What was the process then? Patrick would call signaling down to the field when you guys were signaling like normal, or
it's no different.
Were you okay?
It's no different other than he was calling the plays from the press box compared to Coach Nord calling the plays from the sidelines.
Does Gary Nord get a game ball in this?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you.
What did happen at the end of the first half? I guess what were you trying to get a touchdown out of the whole deal? I mean, was that the?
Yeah. We want to come out and play the second half the same way we did the first half. The first half went really well, play calling wise. We were able to mix it up, run and pass. We weren't going to change anything. There were a couple of good plays that were still on the call sheet that we had not called yet, that we kind of held in our pocket. And you take the penalties away, and you take the turnovers out of it, you take the missed field goal out of it, and then we win potentially by some margin. But maybe it was probably best for our football team to win the close one today.
Anything else?
How about that, Victor? How'd you pull that off? We got in a little late, Danny.
Where have you been?
Got a little late, Coach.
Well, we played hard, we played good, we never gave up, and in the end we kicked a long field goal.
Do you have confidence he could hit that thing?
Well, put him out there.
Okay.
Is Gabe Holmes okay? Gabe and Robert Macy didn't seem like they played very much at all in the second half.
We came in the ball game with several guys that were banged up, but we had some concerns about Robert Macy. He's has been injured for a while now, and it's starting to wear on him some, and he gave us all he could. It's a collective effort. We have some guys that are hurt, and they can go so long, and then pretty soon the injuries wear on them, and then we take them out and we put the other guys in. So it's still a collective effort. At the beginning of the season, we had a collective effort of healthy players getting after it. The second half of the season, we've had a collective effort of guys that were banged up and guys that were getting better, and they've had a collective effort. So we knew coming into the ball game it was going to be a collective effort. One of the things we talked about as a football team was that everybody today had to do something to make a difference. That was one of our goals coming in. Whether it was just encouraging a teammate or making a play or just doing anything, if it was just cheering on the sidelines, everybody today had to do something to try to make an impact or make a difference in the ball game. It was a great collective effort for our football team. Very, very proud of the ball.
Just aside from Marv's, playing with an injury and courageousness of that, just the way he played and sort of managed the game today, was that a pretty good performance out there?
Great performance. Great performance. He's a fantastic arm, and he's a tough guy, a fighter, and that's what we need right now for our football teams. We got to keep swinging and never give up. And I thought we did a good job play calling wise to allow him to help him to manage the football game. Great game plan and a very nice job by Patrick Higgins. But the other credit goes to Robert Marvin and his teammates, not to the coaches.
What's it kind of say, as you talked about Ralph and Robert's injuries, and then even Griggs coming back from his struggles, what does it say that they were able to bounce back and have such great performances today?
Well, that's what being a Boilermaker is all about, and sometimes it's not easy, and sometimes it's not so easy to be a Boilermaker, but being a Boilermaker means you have to hang in there and keep swinging the whole time and never give up and never weaken or give in to some of the things on the outside that try to take what we have going on the inside away from us.
Is that it?